at the Tremont District Library, and we're still working with science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM. And we are definitely with this project that we have for you guys, which is electromagnetism. So we're taking magnets and we're kind of amping it up with some electricity with it. So with troubleshooting your experiment, you will have to use the scientific method. So observe what's going on, question where is it going wrong, research it, possibly try to look up videos or use some of these books that I recommend at the end of the video. Your hypothesis, what might be going wrong, your experiment, what we're doing, test it, and then draw a conclusion and report. But I am not giving you guys any paperwork for reporting. I just love for you guys to experiment with electromagnetism because it is something that is definitely in most of your daily lives, believe it or not. So again, we're working with the periodic table because the magnets that you guys have in your science kit are not just everyday magnets. These are actually called neodymium magnets, and they are no joke magnets. They are very strong. They can attract lots of different things, and you want to make sure that you don't have these magnets around any electronics either, because they're so powerful and so strong. So with your magnets, you have a north pole and a south pole. So with your, if you have north and north, they are going to actually repel themselves. And if you have south and south, or I mean, excuse me, south and north, they will attract, there we go, attract each other. And that's what you are kind of working on with your experiments. But then we're going to amp it up, because when you take a wire or a magnetic or a metal that is conductive to electricity, turns it to an electromagnet. So those kind of metals are your copper, where's copper? Oh, there's copper and iron and zinc. Look, these right here, they're all together. These metals right here have magnetic properties that can become electromagnets or are attracted to magnets. So the first thing you're going to do, or we're going to test, is you'll have one kind of thicker wire, and it's smaller too, and you'll have a handout like this. And you can, you need to use tape if you have it at home. If not, if you have just your fingers, and you can hold it down while you maneuver it around, but you just basically want to trace your wire to the shape that's on the paper. Okay, so you just bend it, maneuver it, and then I turn mine upside down like this to kind of get the second step. And then once you get this, you're gonna take your magnets, put it on the bottom of your AA battery. And what I did is I did a fun, so this is a picture, but on this side it's an empty fishbowl. On this side it's a fish, and if it spins fast enough, it looks like the fish is in the fishbowl. So let's just see if it works. Oh, it's not gonna spin fast enough, but you guys can see that it spins all by itself. And I think it depends on my battery. I think my battery, I played with this a while. I think the battery, there we go. The battery is starting to lose a little bit of its juice. Tip though, with this experiment, the wire can get warm. So just kind of lightly touch it, or just kind of knock it off and then pull your battery out if it's kind of warm. But otherwise, I think the wire that we got, we're good. But that's why when you do this experiment though, please let an adult know, or please be careful, because that is the thing with electromagnetism, with dealing with electricity and exposed wire. There is a chance of the wire heating up or kind of a shock. But like I said, this one that we have sent with you, it has gotten warm, but not super hot to the touch. Also, tip with doing either of these experimentings, it's definitely a troubleshooting experiment that you're doing. So you want to make sure that the wire is centered on your battery. If it's not, then you're going to have to tweak it a little bit. Or if the bottoms don't want to go around your batteries very well, then you're going to have to tweak it. I mean, these are all little steps that you want to be aware of whenever you do it. I will also tell you the tip I did is I took my sandpaper, because this is enamel wire. I did kind of use my sandpaper to remove the coloring on it to expose more of the natural copper. That is another tip that I will tell you to troubleshoot. And then you could do it also on this tip as well. Anything that makes contact with your magnets and your batteries, sandpaper. All right, experiment 2. You will need your C battery, your little battery boat, and I'm gonna just set my battery in it right now. Your extra magnet, your 2 paper clips, your sandpaper, and then from home, if all you have is Scotch tape, that's fine. Electrical tape is great because we're kind of doing an electrical kind of magnet situation, so it does great. Masking tape, but I would definitely recommend duct tape or electrical tape, because they're more of like a fabric, so they kind of wrap around a lot nicer, and you can maneuver your paper clips to get a better contact and level than you can with the Scotch tape and masking tape. So before you get to this step, you want to take your wire, and I've already kind of done that with this one, but you're going to wrap your wire around your battery as tight as you can, and you want it right next to each other. So you want it wrapped really tight. And make sure you don't want to get any kinks or loops. All right, I have wrapped my wire. Oh, I let it go. Come back. Okay, you can see I wrapped around the whole thing, but we need it to be a little bit longer on each side. So then you want to make sure it sticks out at least 1.5 inches on each side. Try to keep your coil. Figure out where your ends are. Okay, and then you're going to slip off your coil, and you're going to wrap each edge through. Okay, so wrap each edge through like this. So you have a nice tight coil, and then you have your 2 ends that come off. Next thing you want to kind of try to do is, when you look at it, you want to make sure that they're level. So they're at the opposite sides. Okay, so you don't want one up here and one over here. You want them exactly opposite from each other. And then you're going to take your sandpaper, and you can tell this one was red. And again, kind of like what we did with this, is you want to take your sandpaper and you want to expose as much of that copper as you can. So from one side, you want to remove all of that red. I don't want to see any red all the way up to the coil. And then the other one, if you guys can tell, this bottom side is still red, but the rest of it I have removed the paint, and it's just exposed copper. All right. So once you get your coil done and you've sanded it down, you will get your paper clips. And what you want to do is you want to take the inside part of your paper clip, and you want to, I kind of hold it with my thumb at the top right here, and I pull it up, because this way it still keeps a nice circle for me. Kind of like that, okay? And then do that to your other one. So you don't want to open up your paper clip, you want to turn it on itself. You want to go toward the, not the open side. All right, so I have my two paper clips turned, like that. And then you're going to take them and go ahead and pull off a piece of tape. Whatever tape you have. Like I said, it's not necessary to have electrical tape, but it just helps whenever, if you do have to troubleshoot, because you can see that the electrical tape is a little more stretchy and easier to, you'll need scissors to cut your tape if you have electrical tape. If you have Scotch tape, you don't need scissors. All right, so let's do one end at a time. Do this end, laying my tape down. Right now, we're not worrying about where the paper clips are exactly. We're gonna adjust that after we tape them down. All right. Okay, so I've got my two paper clips taped. Now, we want to kind of adjust it. And I kind of like to get low and set my battery in my little battery boat and try to eyeball it, because we want both of them at the same height. Okay. And then to test it, we put in our coil to see if we're right. And we're kind of low. You don't want your coil to touch your battery. We're gonna raise our paper clips up. And we wanna make sure that they're level, and to test, make sure it's level, is like, we'll do a little spin. Looks pretty good. Everything seems to be staying in the right spot. And then you're going to take your magnet, and you're gonna kind of start it with the spinning, and then it should, now it's not doing it. What the heck? There we go, yay! Oh. It's this side. There we go. Yay! All right, so here are my recommendations for books for you guys. If you love the experiments that we did today, This is a great book. This is experiments with electricity and magnetism, and it has got a lot of cool information in it. It's an easy read. It's got vocabulary, understanding, how it works, step by step, different experiments that we did not talk about today. There's this one, which is Physical Science, Electricity, and Magnetism by Cody Crane. Another great book, because it's a true story, in fact. This one's definitely an easy read. It definitely talks about like the different scientists, because this is a very active area that things are still being developed with. So another great book. And then last but not least, Experiments with Electricity and Magnetism. And this book is just chock full of different experiments that build off of what we do today. Again, safety tip with these experiments. Because you are dealing with electricity, and for the most part wire, it can be slightly dangerous, or this book is great about that, because it has troubleshooting in here, but it also has safety tips on where you might want to take extra precaution or know that this is kind of hard. And then it has a level: hard, medium, and then easy. Right? I hope you like these books.